Do you suffer from anxious thoughts repeating on a constant loop? Thoughts that you wish you could stop so you could simply get along with your day? I know this sounds unconventional, but today I want to share with you a way to use ChatGPT to end these thoughts as soon as they come up. I personally have been meditating, doing breathing exercises, and taking supplements for decades. And while all of those things are super helpful, what I'm going to show you today is my number one method for stopping unhelpful thought patterns. Funny enough, I learned about this from a Tim Ferriss podcast. In that podcast episode, Tim Ferriss spoke about Byron Katie and her concept of the work. The work is a powerful self-inquiry process that helps identify and question stressful thoughts fueling anxiety. In my experience, this gets under the hood of negative thoughts and leads to a lasting relief from them. When you combine the work with ChatGPT's voice mode, you get a very powerful and interactive way to engage in this self-inquiry process. This process revolves around four main questions that I'm going to demonstrate in a second. But for now, these questions are: 1, is it true? 2, can we absolutely know that it is true? Number 3, how do you react? What happens when you have that thought? And number 4, who would you be without that thought? There's also the concept of the turnarounds, which we'll get to in a second. But for now, let me show you a quick example. This is a fairly basic example I'm going to run through, but trust me, I've tried this on much darker thoughts and it's been very helpful. It's really something you have to try and experience. I think by watching it, you will probably remain skeptical as I did, but it's when you try it and really go through it and see how this works on your subconscious that it shows its benefits. So here we are in the ChatGPT desktop app. Right now, you need the desktop app to access the voice mode. So what I'm going to do is just click this little headphones button and we're going to start to have this conversation with ChatGPT about Byron Katie's The Work Process. Hey there, I'm feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation. I'm worried that I'm going to mess it up and everybody will judge me. Can you guide me through The Work Process by Byron Katie? Please keep your responses short and conversational as I'm using voice mode and avoid long lists.
Of course, I'd be happy to guide you through it. Let's start with the first step. Identify the specific thought that's causing the anxiety. Is it something like, I'm going to mess up, or everyone will judge me? Let's get really clear on the exact thought.
The exact thought is that the presentation will fail and that I would have been better off not doing it at all.
Got it? Now let's move to the second step. Ask yourself, is it true? In other words, can you be absolutely sure that the presentation will fail and that you'd have been better off not doing it? Take a moment to feel into that.
I don't know. I'm pretty nervous. I feel like it could fail.
That's totally understandable. Let's go to the next question. Can you absolutely know it's true? In other words, is there any chance, however small, that the presentation could go better than you expect? This isn't about ignoring the nerves, but just checking if there's any room for a different outcome.
I guess there's always a small chance it could go well. So no, I'm not absolutely sure.
Perfect. That's honest and open. Now let's explore the next question. How do you react? What happens when you believe the thought that the presentation will fail and you'd have been better off not doing it? Think about what happens in your body, your emotions, and even how you approach preparing for it.
Wow, yeah, so many thoughts. I just get frozen up. I start to feel very self-conscious. I get very tight in my chest area, and frankly, I'm unmotivated to do much of anything.
That's powerful awareness. You're seeing how this thought impacts you on so many levels. Now for the final question. Who would you be without the thought that the presentation will fail and you'd have been better off not doing it? Imagine approaching the presentation without that story. How would that feel in your body and mind? What might you do differently?
Wow, it would be really a blessing if I didn't have that repetitive thought that I'm wasting my time. I would feel much freer. I would feel, the ability to kind of move on with my day and just, become more productive. And I don't know. Basically, that's it.
That's a beautiful insight. It sounds like without that thought, you'd feel lighter and more open to just doing your best without all the weight. Now, let's turn the thought around. One possible turnaround could be, the presentation will succeed, and I'm better off for doing it. How does it feel to consider that? Can you find any evidence, even small bits, that support this new thought?
That feels pretty good. I've definitely given successful presentations in the past, so I know that the feeling of coming off stage and really rocking a presentation is one of the most powerful, joyful feelings in life.
Exactly. That's a powerful reminder of what you're capable of. Holding on to that feeling, the memory of past successes, can really shift the energy around this presentation. Remember, you've done it before. And there's every reason to believe you can create that experience again. Keep focusing on that feeling as you prepare.
Are there other turnarounds? I know Byron Katie likes to do several. Do you have any others?
Absolutely. Here are a couple more that might resonate. One turnaround could be, the presentation won't fail, and I'd be worse off not doing it. This flips both parts, inviting you to consider that stepping up, even with nerves, might be exactly what you need to grow or experience something meaningful. Another is, my thinking about the presentation is what's failing, not the presentation itself. This separates the event from the anxious thoughts around it, which can help you see that it's often the worry itself, not the reality, that's causing stress. Do either of these feel true or helpful?
The key thing to think about is that it's not the encouraging tone that the AI delivers. It's really your own thought process as you describe how you would feel without that thought, and especially those turnarounds. Having a little bit more back and forth about those turnarounds with the AI can really help to end these unhelpful, repetitive thoughts. One thing I thought the AI did really well there was to hone in and frame one specific thought. As you probably know, these anxious thoughts sometimes spiral into other thoughts and they start having babies and multiplying. When you do the work, you really need to focus on one specific thought. Then you can always move on to a different thought, perhaps one that comes up in your discussion while you're doing the work. Those turnarounds are super powerful. It is very, very helpful to have the AI give you those turnarounds, as it is very hard to turn those around yourself. I've done this in other ways, not using the AI, and I can usually come up with one turnaround, but viewing it from all sorts of different angles can be a really, really helpful way to use AI. If you're new to Byron Katie's concept of the work, I'm sure you have many questions. I know that I did. Just know that this is a skill you can get better at with practice. And there are many great YouTube videos of Byron Katie demonstrating this. She's also written many books. I think the core book is called Loving What Is. I've got links to a few of my favorite Byron Katie resources in the cheat sheet that accompanies this video. In that cheat sheet, I also go way deeper into some of the lessons that I've learned and how you can use AI to speed up that learning process. There are tons of prompts and other examples to look at. That cheat sheet, along with over 100 others, are instantly available to anybody who supports this channel on Patreon. My Patreon supporters alone make these videos possible. I'm infinitely grateful to them. There's a link in the description if you'd like to learn more about that. If you're new to the Blazing Zebra channel, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining me on my mission of helping whoever I can learn to use these powerful new AI tools to improve their lives. There has never been a better time to subscribe to Blazing Zebra. I've got a lot of great content on the way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you got something out of this video, give me a thumbs up, hit me up in the comments, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you on the next video.